What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, daily news, the stimulus package update, pretty much everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market. Remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. And don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We got a lot going on here in our stimulus package and in the infrastructure package as they're trying to finalize revisions of the stimulus package today. They're actually adding in new items on the stimulus package today and tomorrow. Then they will be sending it to markups and trying to finalize the bill today. And we have multiple different groups and people from the Democratic Progressive Caucus looking to add items into the stimulus package. Here is Democratic Progressive Representative Ayanna Pressley on different things that they want to add into the stimulus package and fighting for the people to add in items into this package.
Joining me now is the Democratic Representative Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts. She's the Vice Chair of the Financial Services Committee, a member of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, and a friend of our show, so she's someone with whom I can speak honestly about this. Congresswoman, good to see you this morning. Let's pretend we're not on TV here. There's a lot of stuff that is great and important about this bill, but there's a lot of stuff that progressives like you wanted to see in it that are not in it. And I worry about whether there will ever be a chance like this to make the real transformational change that people like you and people like me are looking for.
Well, I think within these negotiations and the reporting on these negotiations, it's really easy to lose sight of what this is really all about. This isn't about numbers. This is about substance and impact and people feeling that impact in their lives in a meaningful way each and every day. Childcare, for example, it was already a crisis that has only been exacerbated during the pandemic. We lost some 2 million plus women from the workforce because there was not access to childcare. But it's not only about us ensuring that families have affordable access to quality care and that they're not choosing between paying the rent and paying for early education and care for their child. But Ali, it's also about this workforce that is mostly women and women of color who we are currently losing to waitressing jobs across the street. And these are people who are very passionate about being early educators. They want to pour into our babies and set them on a pathway to be successful, but they can't even take care of their own babies. And that's unacceptable. If you look at an issue like paid leave, there but for the grace of God go I. At some point, every single one of us will play a caregiving role in our family. And people should not have to worry about and choose between being with their baby that's in the NICU or wondering if they should, if they have the right to wait for their C-section scar, to their wound to heal. And if they don't do that, that they could risk their job, their income, being gainfully employed. This is personal for me as it is for millions of families. I was a caregiver to my mother in her leukemia battle. There is no greater heartbreak than seeing life slowly ebb out of the body of someone who you love. But I would have had it no other way that I took on that responsibility. And I should not have had to wonder if I will still be gainfully employed because I needed to be there at my mother's side. And so, paid leave, childcare, it's infrastructure for a reason because it is essential. It is essential to the functioning of our society. So we need childcare for our families. We need to take care of this childcare workforce, and we need to make sure that we're supporting our families. I want to say something. Policy is my love language.
I know.
And I want those who are being caregivers right now who have been battling depression and anxiety and who have felt alone in doing this loving labor, but especially during the pandemic. I want them to know that we see them. But moreover, every nation in the globe, except for us, except for the United States of America, understands that paid leave is essential infrastructure. So this is the time. And if we're really serious about building back better, and if we're really serious about this reckoning on racial injustice, this is a gender justice issue. This is a racial justice issue. Economists are calling the current state of our economy and what has happened with women leaving the workforce, they're calling it a she-cession more than a recession. And so if we really want to build back better, it means leaving no one behind. It means rejecting these false binary binary choices, we can take care of everyone. There is not a deficit of resource. There's only a deficit of empathy. And I'm going to continue to lift the stories of the families in my district when it comes to child care, which for center-based care in Massachusetts is $21,000 per child, the second highest cost of child care in the country. And I'm going to keep lifting the stories of those being caregivers right now who feel alone, and to let them know I'm going to stay at the table and keep fighting until the ink is dry. This is the moment.
So their Democratic Representative Ayanna Pressley, just one of the progressive members that's going to keep fighting until the ink is dry. She mentions that child care average for in her state is $21,000 on average in her state. Ouch. So yeah, you can see how it can be 25 to 33% or more to send your child or children to childcare. Um, yeah, that's very, very expensive, $21,000. So you can see how why childcare is just one of these stimulus provisions that they want to put in this package. It can be anywhere from free childcare if you're low income to a maximum of 7% of the amount a family would pay. So instead of paying 33% or more of your income, it would be no more than 7% of your income in this stimulus package. So there's multiple different stimulus items in this package. There, as she mentioned, paid family and medical leave is currently out of this package. They're fighting to put it back in. They had just days before 4 weeks of paid family and medical leave for illness, for if you're having a baby, you could get 4 weeks of paid family and medical leave from the government. But that is currently out right now. So they're fighting to get that back in, as well as for Medicare. Medicare. Dental, vision, and hearing. Right now, hearing is in there. Hearing and hearing aids is in there. They're fighting to get vision put back in the package. And dental is one of the harder ones that they're going to work on. Vision is they're working on right now. So one thing at a time. And this would be benefits for Medicare. They're calling it expanded Medicare benefits. So there's a lot of different things they're working on, including prescription drug pricing, lowering the cost of prescription drugs. They're working on a deal on this right now. Whether or not this is going to make it to the final table, to the final deal, as you heard her say, she's just one of the progressive Democrats that is working on literally negotiating until the ink is dry, which literally could be here within, they're expecting to possibly vote on this by Tuesday, have a deal or have a, possibly have it inked by today or tomorrow, and maybe vote on this by Tuesday. So things are getting very, very close here. We have an extension of the monthly checks for children. Some call them stimulus checks, some just call them checks. Whatever you want to call them, the child tax credits. Those monthly checks for children going out to 65 million children, called the child tax credits. $300 per month for children 5 and under for 1 more year, and $250 per month for children ages 6 through 17 are extended for only 1 more year for the child tax credits. We're also hoping that they will add an extension for adults, or not an extension, but a fourth stimulus check in there for adults. We have the Senior Citizens Advocacy Group pushing very, very hard to add a fourth stimulus check in there for adults as well. And then we also have a very real possibility of a stimulus debit card for seniors on Medicare for medical and dental that will be $800 that you could use for, again, medical and dental, of an $800 stimulus debit card. And as we go through here, this kind of the vote-a-rama process, the amendment process, And this final stage process here is when they will add in multiple different items here at the very last moment. And remember, from the second stimulus check package, they added in the stimulus check 6 days before, at the very last moment, even after they wrote the bill. They wrote the bill on the second stimulus check second stimulus check package, and they added the bill in after, or they added the check in after they wrote the bill. Okay, so they're getting ready to write the bill now. In the second stimulus check package, they added the check in after they wrote the bill. Okay, and in the third stimulus check package, they added in multiple provisions afterwards as well. Most notably, the $10,200 tax-free provision, which made anybody who had unemployment retroactively from 2020 got $10,200 of unemployment income tax-free, which made anybody got anywhere from several $100s to several $1,000s of income tax-free. So that meant most people got anywhere from a several $100 check to several $1,000 check of income tax refund, stimulus check, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people got upwards of $3,000 of a check back from unemployment. So that was an item they added in not only after they wrote the bill, but after the House passed the bill and the Senate revised it. So, yeah, we're down to the wire here. In fact, here is Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg on what is going to happen here in the last final days and this process and what he thinks is going to happen.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Secretary Buttigieg, thanks for joining us this morning. Let's pick up where Cecilia just left off. We know that Speaker Pelosi is hoping for a vote on Tuesday. Are you confident you have the votes?
We're very optimistic. The president put forward this framework because he believes that it will pass the House and the Senate and can get to his desk. And as soon as it does, it's going to make such a difference in the lives of Americans. You know, one of the reasons we have such a sense of urgency about this is that the American people are impatient to see the kind of pro-family policies that are in that Build Back Better plan, to make sure that we make child care more affordable in this country, to expand 3- and 4-year-old access to preschool, to get millions of Americans needed tax cuts in the expansion of the child tax credit. And that's just talking about the family parts of the bill. Obviously, huge and urgently needed action on climate change, and of course, that work on transportation infrastructure that I've been talking about all year, improving our roads and bridges, our ports and airports, something that is even more visibly needed as we face some of these supply chain issues with record levels of goods going through infrastructure that has often been designed 100 years ago or more.
You say the American people are impatient, but we have a new poll out this morning with Ipsos. One that shows that 69% of the public doesn't know much about the bill. 32% think it will actually hurt them. So has this been a failure of communications?
Well, I think that gives me a great opportunity to remind Americans about some of what's in this. For example, if you're watching this broadcast and you have kids, 9 out of 10 chance that you will personally benefit to the tune of hundreds or thousands of dollars from that child tax credit expansion. If you have been thinking about getting an electric vehicle and the savings in fuel that would come from that, think about what your family could do with up to a $12,500 discount on electric vehicles, which we're doing, of course, not just because it's going to benefit your family, but because it's going to benefit those American jobs making them and, importantly, benefit the climate. Think about the real-world, everyday impact that it will make for millions of Americans to get that support for childcare that's unaffordable. And by the way, one of the other reasons why it's so important to get those childcare provisions through is that's also going to help with inflation. We got a lot of people who are unable to return to the labor market because they can't get childcare. That is a drag on our economy, and it's one of the things that's creating upward pressure on prices, which is why 17 Nobel Prize-winning economists signed a letter talking about the benefits with regard to inflation that'll come from this bill. So look, whether you're a policy wonk or whether you're just trying to get through life raising your family, Anybody who has ever driven on a road or a bridge, anybody who drinks water, remember this bill will get lead out of 100% of the pipes in this country. Anybody concerned about internet access coming to a neighborhood near you, this bill is for you. And it's one of the reasons why I welcome this opportunity to talk not just about the political blow-by-blow and the day-by-day drama, but what it's actually going to do for the American people.
One of the provisions that's not in the bill, that's been dropped from the bill, is paid family leave. Of course, you've had some recent experience with paid leave, taking care of your new twins. It's been dropped from the bill. We know there's still some lobbying going on behind the scenes to get it back in. Any hope for that, or is that a fight for another day?
Well, look, it's definitely something that we believe in. And so while it is not in this framework, we're going to keep fighting for it. As you said, I believe in it. The president does. And let me say this. Any other policy priority that we have as an administration, as a party, it's going to be that much easier to deliver in a future where we are in a position of strength because we've gotten this done. What we have in front of us right now, this is not half a loaf. It is a feast of good policy. It is the most transformative legislation for families, for healthcare, for climate that we've seen, certainly in my lifetime. And it's going to be an extraordinary achievement as soon as we can get it to the president's desk. And then departments like mine will be getting to work using those taxpayer dollars well to make everyday American life better.
You say you're very optimistic, but we still haven't seen expressions of support from the two senators that seem to matter most right now, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema.
Well, again, we are the closest we have ever been, and the president put forward this framework, having talked to them and others throughout the progressive and moderate wings of our party, confident that it will pass. And, this is a process that's taken up to a year and a huge amount of consultation, listening. I've seen the president paying close attention to what members across the party have to say, talking to Republicans. Remember, we got a bipartisan vote for the infrastructure part of the deal. I wouldn't, by the way, let Republicans off the hook on voting for the family provisions, too. I know they probably won't, but it's not too late for some of them to join Democrats who are united in believing that the time has come for us to actually put our money where our mouth is, support American families, and do it with a fairer tax code that rewards work, not wealth, that asks corporations to pay their fair share, and that makes this a fairer system for everybody.
I know you're confident, but what are the consequences of failure?
Look, we just have to get this done. And I'm not just saying that politically. I'm saying that because, look, you look at climate, for example, as we prepare for the summit in Glasgow. We have a very limited number of years to cut emissions dramatically. And the president's laid out a way to do it that's actually going to create jobs, break that old false choice of climate versus jobs. We have to do that. We have to deliver for families. The sense of urgency in this administration is part of how our economy has been brought back from the brink. If you think about the bold action in the American Rescue Plan, now we need bold action to set us up for success, not just getting through the winter, but getting through the next decade and beyond.
Secretary Buttigieg, thanks for your time.
So Secretary Buttigieg says that we are the closest we have ever been, and they are finalizing, trying to finalize the revisions and what they're going to add into the bill today and tomorrow. And we have multiple different progressive Democrats from the House and Senator Bernie Sanders from the Senate, as well as Elizabeth Warren, fighting to add multiple different things into this package today and tomorrow. So we'll have to see what they can add into this bill, and keep our fingers crossed here. Let me know your thoughts on this. So we have a lot of different things looking to be added in here. We have the Senior Citizens Advocacy Group looking to add a $1,400 stimulus check into this package for adults. And remember, the children are already taken care of with the monthly checks called the child tax credits to the tune of $3,000 to $3,600 per year. That's only for 1 year. Also, we don't have any word yet on the debt limit, if they're going to include an extension of the debt limit. Remember that the debt limit will expire somewhere around December 3rd. Nobody's confirmed yet if they're going to extend the debt limit. Nancy Pelosi has been asked about it on TV. We had it on the show here, and she kind of sidestepped the question. So I guess we'll be finding out here if they're going to extend the debt limit in this bill. I sure hope so, because the Republicans have adamantly said that they're not going to help the Democrats extend it. We also could find out if they're going to completely eliminate it or try to do that in this bill as well. And whether or not Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin will go along with that. I personally think that would be a good idea to just eliminate it. We've had both Republicans and Democrats in the past and present that have said that we should just eliminate it, because all the spending has to go through Congress anyways. This is kind of just a political ploy slash game that is just used against the American people at this point. So the debt limit is just kind of this thing that is really a thing that where we could default on, and it's just, we've had Republicans use it against Democrats, Democrats used it against Republicans in the past, and one of these times we're going to slip up and the country's going to default, and it's going to be very, very bad for the American people. We've had the president and senators say that Social Security payments could be delayed if that happens. Child tax credit payments could be delayed or not be sent out. Payments to the military, the United States credit rating could or will plummet. The stock market will plummet, and all sorts of things. If the United States defaults on its debt obligations, it's not going to be good for anybody. It's not going to be good for anybody. So we don't want that to happen. If they get rid of the debt limit, or if they change the debt limit, the obligation to who raises it to somebody like the Treasury Secretary instead of Congress. So it's not Republicans versus Democrats on who raises it, and just like changes like that over to the Treasury Secretary, where the Treasury Secretary can just raise it when the time comes to do it. That would be a much needed change. So maybe they'll do something like that. So I will keep up to date on this, but they're going to have to do this in about a month's time, and they've been mum on it. They have not commented. Well, Nancy Pelosi kind of commented on it. She basically said, well, we prefer to do it with the Republicans. But the Republicans aren't going to do it. Mitch McConnell has confirmed that he ain't helping, and the Republicans ain't helping. They helped that last time, but then Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer slammed them. And that was just, they've confirmed that they ain't helping again. So I don't know. We'll have to see here. So in my next video, I will have some special Halloween guests for you guys with some Halloween costumes and stuff like that. So make sure to watch in the next video, which will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out on new updates. I will keep you up to date with everything going on here with the stimulus package, daily news, pretty much everything you need to know about what's going on with our country. So I will keep you up to date. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is how there's 2 new stimulus proposals to raise Social Security benefits. Really big news there. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.